And now, the Purple Room.
Welcome into the Purple Room. I'm Patricia Caputo. He's David Barthelemy. And today we have a special guest in Giovanni Lamonte, who is the creative service producer for the gymnastics team who just won a national championship. Yep. So how does it feel being a national champion?
Oh man, it's everything I ever dreamed of. It's been great. Definitely been a wild ride since the beginning of the season up until this point. But, you know, it's been pretty crazy this past week.
So typically on the show here, we have a segment called What's Going On, presented by Sonic. You went and saw Glorilla last night, is that right? And you got to film that. So how was that at the PMAC? Was it packed? What was the vibes like?
Yeah, I mean, grooving's always great. You know, we had 2 years ago, we had Lil Baby. Last year, we had NLE. This year, we had Glorilla and Trina and Gloss Up. So it was packed. It was live. It was very Louisiana. You know, everyone was having a good time partying. So great time on the PMAC.
So you create content for like all the teams over here and like different events at LSU, but just take us back. Like, how did that start? Like, how did you get into all of this?
It's crazy because I actually started here at Tiger TV. I was a sports reporter in 2019, or actually 2018. I started in the fall, and then I kind of worked for 2 semesters here, and I kind of realized that I wanted to get into more of the creative space of sports, and not so much in like the broadcast area. So in 2019, in the fall, I took a job with Athletics, kind of working with football, and it was kind of me and one other girl who actually also worked for Tiger TV. Her name's Elise Tate, and we were kind of the first 2 students in that program. And 2019 football season was a good place to start, and kind of got our foot in the door, just creating content. Brandon Barrio and Matt Tornquist kind of took me on under their wing and kind of just trusted me to get the program where it is today.
That had to be like the perfect season to start too. I mean, you got winners everywhere. LSU, like there was no low lights. Everything was a highlight. So you probably had a lot of footage to work with.
Oh yeah, I mean it was crazy. Like obviously I grew up in Louisiana, in Opelousas, about an hour away. So I'm a lifelong LSU fan, big LSU football fan, and you know being able to kind of witness the Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson season happen like as it was happening. Didn't really realize what it was until it ended, and now like looking back, I'm like, dang, like we were really in that, and that really happened.
But it's been like that for the last few years. We talked about gymnastics, women's basketball, baseball, of course, followed football. So what has been your favorite moment working for this LSU program?
Favorite moment was 6 days ago in Fort Worth, winning a national championship. So I started with working with gymnastics kind of behind the scenes in 2019 as a student and just kind of making like little videos for them here and there, but they had a full-time producer. It wasn't until 2 years ago where I actually got hired to be the full-time producer for all their content. So I've been around the team for 6 years now. So I started whenever Kaya was a freshman, and now their whole class is, you know, graduating and they're all done. So the ride has not only been with LSU, but it's also been with, you know, this team specifically. Like I've been able to watch them grow. I've been able to watch, you know, the accolades fall and everything come their way that they absolutely deserve.
I know that every sports fan can remember a moment in their life where they were on YouTube and they were watching like a college football hype video. They got that Rihanna Jay-Z song in the background. You feel the chills. Or you watch the Tavon Austin highlights from when he was in college. And the feeling you get from that, it's like unreplicated. Like even if you don't play the sport, you got chills. So particularly for LSU, like when I watch LSU hype videos, oh my God, I lose my mind. Like I feel like I'm ready to run through the wall. So what's that creative process? Like how do you come up with these ideas for the video and how do you like turn it into reality?
Yeah, I mean, I think being a creative is very much a gift that you're given. You know, not everyone can. Like I can't go and be an engineer or like do math the way that like my friends who are engineers can. You know, that's like their gift. And kind of growing up, I was always drawn to telling stories and doing storytelling. So like I knew that was kind of the path that I wanted to take. And whenever it comes to the creative process, it's kind of just something that lives within me and lives within our whole staff because we have a very talented staff across all of our sports here. And you know, 50% of it is saying, you know, I'm going to go in and I'm going to shoot this way. I'm going to get this shot to make this edit. And then the other 50% is just shooting and just being like, let's see what I come up with. You know, for regionals, I made a hype video and I did this effect where like it was Savannah Shanehair who came from Florida and now competes here at LSU. And I like made like a portal for her to like go through, and she like literally like went into like the transfer portal like at Florida, and then like came out, and that was just something. I was just in a coffee shop in Fayetteville, and I was like, let's see if I can put her through a portal. I don't know, and then I just tried it out, and it ended up working.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You wouldn't expect a gymnastics video to be so cold, but those gymnastics hype videos, they really, like the one that they played in the PMAC the other day for the celebration, that one is insane with the throne, the fresh uniforms. It's just like, what's y'all budget? Like, what are y'all working with? Does the school just tell you, just, hey, go get it?
So, well, first of all, with all the hype videos and everything, you know, we have a team, me, Logan Sampi, and Caleb Vidros. They've helped tremendously over the course of this season, so I definitely want to shout them out. You know, Logan's done so much on the social side as well. But whenever it comes to, you know, intro videos and stuff like that, we don't really have like a budget. We kind of just, now the throne was bought last year. That was under gymnastics budget. They got it because I went to our director of operations, Katie Copeland, and I was like, we need this thing, and she made it happen. She's the best. She got the throne, and now it's kind of just like a staple. You know, I've seen so many other teams like take pictures in it and everything. But whenever it comes to like the intro video last year, my dad actually built 2 or 3 8x8 just walls, and then we put like mirror ball disco tiles on the wall like, across it. And then got like some Gobi lights that went around. I mean, the whole thing maybe cost like $200-300, but I mean, it was all like DIY basically. We just kind of made it ourselves. Me and Alyssa Leal, who's our SID for gymnastics, we kind of just brainstormed it and, you know, made it come together and made it come to life.
Is that a lot of it, like just doing DIY stuff, finding random pieces, putting it together, and making magic?
Yeah. This year, the video that you were talking about, we got a big roll of Mylar, which is kind of like aluminum foil, but like it's more like creative. We just got like a big roll of that, and we're just like, let's wrap anything we can in it. So we like wrap the throne in it, we wrap walls in it, and then we just like put them in, and it makes for this like cool effect. But it wasn't anything like where we were, you know, dropping thousands of dollars to like make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of trust us to, you know, be the creatives that we are.
The editing aspect is one of the coolest things I find on your TikTok, because you kind of take your viewers through of, this is how I edited this and this is how I did that. But how long does it take you to edit things like that? Because of course you're watching it on TikTok. It's in 2 minutes at least. So, that's so easy. But how long is that taking you to learn to do that? And then when you finally learn to do it, how long can you do it? Is it just kind of like the mind muscle memory?
Yeah, I mean, the way I kind of explained the whole editing process is like, you look at like math and you have addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. And if you know how to do those 4 things, you can pretty much do any type of math. Whenever it comes to editing, you know, you have masking, keyframing, rotoscoping, things like that, tracking. And if you know how to do those basic things, then you can use those in conjunction with one another to get kind of whatever effect you want. So without getting like too technical, it takes a long time because, you know, most of the time is me figuring out what I'm even going to do. And then once I figure it out, I'm like, okay, well, let me go watch a tutorial on like something. Because I mean, I went to YouTube University. I graduated from LSU, but everything that I know has come from YouTube whenever it comes to editing. So I'll go watch, you know, a tutorial on that and then just try it out. And I usually try to aim for like the most insane, crazy thing that I can do. And whenever I inevitably fail at doing that, then I dial it back a bit. And that's kind of the effects I end up with.
So you speak of like that whole editing process. What's the longest time you spent on one project?
Man.
I already know it's bad.
I mean, I'm trying to think of a specific. It was a 7-second video that I did with Aaliyah Finnegan's floor routine. And I got home, and it was probably like 6 p.m. And I was like, I want to do this effect where she's tumbling, she's doing her last pass on floor, and she's like glowing into like different parts of herself. Maybe you can like put it over because I can't really explain it that well. But I just kind of had the idea for it, and I remember I started like right after I ate dinner or whatever, and it was like 3 a.m. whenever I had finally like exported it, and it was like a 7-second video, and I was just, because a lot of it was failing though. Like, I mean, I went through like 3 or 4 different versions where I was like, okay, this doesn't look right. I need to like restart this. Like, it's not getting there. And then, you know, that's a lot of it's just trial and error, but there's a lot of videos that take a long time.
So after you like spent hours editing just for like a couple seconds on a video, how do you feel? Like how rewarding is that, and how quick, like what's the time between finishing a project and then getting on to another one?
Immediately. I mean, I usually have, you know, multiple projects going at once. Like even today I'm, you know, kind of working on the edit for Glorilla that I did yesterday, and then we also have other gymnastic stuff that we're doing. So it's always just juggling different projects. But you know, once it's posted, I try not to look at numbers too much because you know, there are videos that I've spent, you know, hours on that'll flop, and then there's videos that I literally will take with my phone and post immediately that'll do hundreds of thousands of views. So you know, you can't really measure success by that. You know, I measure it by, you know, the amount of fun I have making the project and, you know, how it affects other people.
Yeah, and it's probably so much fun working with the teams, all the staff, all the equipment you guys have. But who's probably like the best person you've got to like work with
on the team?
Yeah.
I love you. I love all of them. But I'll say Kaya Johnson has been really great because she's actually taken an interest in doing videos. Yeah. She has, you know, she wants to go work at ESPN, and she's, I don't know if you all saw, I did post a TikTok where like I let her film whenever we got to the arena, and she's actually started making edits of her own. And we were at the hotel, and we were like walking down for breakfast, and she was like, "Wait, Gio, I want to show you something. I made something last night." And she like made an edit. And I was like, "Send that to me." So she sent it to me, and then I put a clip of it in the hype video, like to surprise her. And whenever we watched it as a team, and she was like watching, she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's my shot." So like, yeah, it's been great working with her, and it's really interesting because like I look at the stuff that they do, and it's unreal what they do, and I'm like, I wish I could do a bars routine. I wish I could do a vault. But you know, they kind of look at us the same way. They're like, you know, what y'all do is so cool. Like I wish I could do it. And for them to show a genuine interest in that is just really cool.
Yeah, I definitely could relate to that feeling because, like, when I got to like shoot the football games for Tiger TV, like, you know, nobody really thinks about the cameraman that's getting the clips until one day I got a nice clip and somebody on the team was like, "Oh, that's fire, bro. Send that to me." And I was like, "Oh wow,
yeah,
this does feel good."
That's funny because I think about the bars more. Just like, I mean, I like the filming, but I'm like, I wish I could do a flip like that. That'd be so cool. Yeah. I could do a good cartwheel, but that's about it. So not enough for their gymnastics team. But let's talk about your Emmy that you won last year, and walk me through the process of realizing that you had an opportunity to win an Emmy, and then when you actually won, what was your reaction?
Yeah. So the process was a text that I received from Emily Dean, who is one of my coworkers, and she literally texted me and said, "Hey, I'm going to submit the climb for an Emmy if that's cool with you." And I just liked the message. I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like, I'm not going to get nominated or win anything, so like, just, you know, send it." And then a couple months passed by, and she was like, "Hey, you got nominated." And I was like, "Oh, dang, okay, like that's pretty cool. Like, got nominated, still probably won't win." And then, you know, a couple months passed, and they're like, "You can go to the ceremony with Dawson Aaronsdorf. He was also nominated for the baseball documentary that they do, The Powerhouse." And they were like, "Do y'all want to go?" And we were like, "Yeah, sure." So once again, like we just went. My whole family came out. You know, it was great. We're at the table, and the ceremony starts, and I was like, it just kind of goes, and I'm like, man, what if I do win? I was like, I don't really have a speech prepared, or like I'm not mentally in this situation to like go up there and accept anything. So I pulled out ChatGPT and I was like, write an acceptance speech with these bullet points and you thank these, because we only had 15 seconds to accept it. So it's not enough to like actually say like anything truly like meaningful, but I was like, thank these people and say like, go Tigers, I don't know. And I was just sitting there, and the closer it got to our section, like the more real it became. And I was just like,
heart started pumping.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what if this actually happens? And they said it, and they were like, the climb. And they played, you know, my trailer. I like tried to get out of my chair, almost fell out of my chair trying to like get out, and then walked up there and blacked out. I don't remember what I said or anything. And then we had to go backstage to like get the actual award. And whenever I went back there, there was just a line, and I was just standing by myself. And it was weird because I was just like kind of flashing back to like all those like late nights that I stayed up, and like all the you know, time and effort and energy that we all as a staff put in last year. That was an incredible year. And it was just like, you know, this is worth, you know, it's not about the award. I was more excited to like bring the award back and text Jay, you know, the coach, and tell the girls, because like, you know, it's all their award too. I couldn't do it without them, you know, they're the cast of the climb, you know, like, so I was really excited to tell them, and they received it great.
So for those who don't know about the climb, can you take them a little bit of what you were filming? That I know you had mentioned that in a former interview that I was watching, that you filmed just about 24/7.
Yeah.
So take us through what it is, and how did you piece together what goes in the docuseries and what has to stay out of the docuseries?
Yeah, so the climb is, so last year it was a 10-part series that we did. This year it's 8 parts. Part 8 is coming in the next few weeks. That'll be the grand finale. But it's basically an all-access docuseries on the LSU Gymnastics team. And when we say all-access, it's literally like everything that, you know, the team sees, the team meetings, the practices, the inter-squads, the travel, you know, the meets themselves. Like, it's everything that encompasses what the climb and the journey of LSU Gymnastics has been. And last year, if you aren't familiar with kind of what we went through, we had Kaya Johnson, who is, you know, one of our best and most talented athletes on the team, tear her Achilles three meets into the season. We had Cammie Hall, who was a transfer from Utah, tore her Achilles, you know, 2 months before the season started. And then Kai Rivers, another senior, tore her Achilles, you know, at the podium challenge meet about halfway through the season. So we went through a lot of adversity. We went through a lot of conflict, but the great thing about it was that I got to document the conflict, but I also got to document the resolution and them overcoming everything and all the adversity that they went through. We ended up making it past regionals, which a lot of people didn't have us doing, and we ended up making it to the Final Four. We finished in 4th, but 4th place was a lot higher than a lot of people would have granted that team to finish. So the climb is just, you know, being able to document everything that they went through last year. And then this year, you know, I hate to say we didn't have conflict, because we did, but this year we were just really, really good. So like, yeah, it was just, you know, there was one point, you know, we went to Missouri and, you know, we didn't have a great meet there. We bounced back against Arkansas. We set records against Arkansas the next week. But this year was just kind of like seeing the fruits of the labor of everything that the team last year went through. And, you know, you see where we ended up.
Yeah, and you brought up how, like, you did this because you've always had an interest in telling stories. Is there a better way to end a story than to end with a gymnastics national championship after coming in 4th place last year, and then this year just record-breaking after record-breaking? Like, how do you, like, as a creative and as somebody who has to document it 24/7, that feeling had to be amazing for you, because the work was probably easy. It's easy when everyone's winning.
Right. Yeah, I mean, last year I would say as I would be editing, I'm just like, they're just handing me this. It's like they're just putting it on a silver platter. Like, I'm not even having to really like try hard to get like great content. And, you know, the series, in my opinion, kind of ends here. Like, I think this 18 episode stretch of, you know, what we went through last year and then the climb to get to a national championship this year, like, there's not much more to tell about what this team has gone through. So it's kind of bracketed, you know, if you look at it. I'm not sure what the future of the series holds. That's a conversation for people who have more power than I do. But, you know, these last 2 seasons have been so special.
Well, maybe there can be a short little documentary on Boa, the Rock, who has won a national championship with you guys, won an Emmy with you. Yeah. How did that Rock become part of this team?
Man, no, he is the rock of our team, honestly. The girls love him. Basically, the true story of Boa is that about 5 years ago, my sisters I have 2 sisters, and I'm the youngest. And my sisters both got dogs, and the dogs are sisters. So they would send in the group chat, in our family group chat, they're like, oh, April and Rue are playing together, like they love each other, whatever. And I didn't get the invite to get a dog. So I kind of felt left out. So I lived at Red Point at the time, and I was playing basketball, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a pet rock. And I was like, I'm gonna draw a face on him. I'm gonna send it in the group chat and be like, you know, this is my pet for now. And then ever since that, he's kind of just came everywhere, and it's kind of just a running joke, like on the team and in my family, whatever. But I'm not joking. Every time we go on a travel trip or anything, there's at least one girl on the team who's like, "Where's Boa? You got Boa?" And most of the time it's Haley. Haley loves him. And he's been everywhere, and he'll continue to be.
I mean, you can never get rid of Boa now. You know how Patrick Mahomes said he wears the same socks every game. You got to bring Boa everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, he was at Glorilla last night.
God forbid.
He was backstage. Most people weren't, but he was.
You just keep him back there?
Yeah, I mean, he's just in my bag. Sometimes he goes off and does his own thing.
They didn't even know the biggest star was there. They didn't even know Boa was there. They're excited for Glorilla.
But how do you get him on the plane? Because I think TSA has stopped you before. Is
that
right?
So TSA does stop me because they can't see through him, like the detectors. And usually, like half the time, they'll be like, okay, what is this? Whatever. But the other half, they're like, oh my gosh, this is so cute, whatever. Like, why does he exist? And I'm like, he's our guy. He's coming. He's our lucky rock. And he definitely brought us a lot of luck this season.
I'm sorry. That's just hilarious that you have to just sit there and kind of explain the story while there's like 20 people behind you. All right. Okay, let's talk about, you're a little bit of an artist, right? You could do some music on the side. You have a side gig. So how is that going, and what does that look like in the future? Yeah,
I mean, I just love to make stuff, like create anything, whether it be, I mean, I try to draw. I tried to actually draw the title cards for the climb, and then realized that is not my calling. Wow. So we got Nico Buddy, he draws all of them, and he's super talented drawing all of those. But I mean, I don't know, I just love to make anything and everything. Logan Sampy, as I mentioned, he also does music with me, and he's actually produced some of the tracks that you hear whenever you watch the hype video. So if you remember the SEC Championship hype video, the Boosie remix, he remixed that whole track. So we do kind of just everything on the side. I'd love to make more music in the future. Obviously, right now is very busy, but once the summer comes, that's kind of the time to just get in the studio and just figure it out.
Can you make us a Purple Room Boosie remix?
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you guys can collab. When we had our fundraiser at Fred's,
David
got the entire crowd to start singing No Hands. He was like, guys, I have a song everybody knows, and he started singing that. Then our first ever guest was from After Midnight's, a band that performed.
Oh, really?
So maybe all three of you
we can start like a Purple Room band. We can bring the ballad advanced people. We got you. We got everybody.
That'd be perfect. We can have it right in here. Drum set over there to the left, guitars to the right. I think that'd be really.
Put some pads on the walls. I don't know if the acoustics are good.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe we'll have to work on this stuff.
It's in the works.
We'll have to think about that and how all of that goes. But also, you've collaborated with some other groups and some other leagues like the NFL and the NBA.
Yeah.
What has that experience been like, and how does it differ from the college level?
Yeah. So I work with NFL, NBA. I actually work with Fresh Tape Media. They contract through the NBA, and that experience is very different because obviously college sports is just so much passion. Not that pro sports isn't passion, but it's different. If you've ever been to a Saints game, 100%. You've ever been to a Pels game, it's there, but 100%. It's not, Saturday night in Death Valley. Mm-hmm. But, that experience has been great. It's great just being able to branch out and just do other things, beyond, having purple and gold in my reel, just being able to film those other sports and those other leagues. And it's a lot of phone content because that's what, pops off now on Instagram and everything. So it's interesting because they hire, people who work with cameras professionally, and they're like, all right, just go out on the sideline with your phone, and it's something that as creatives, we're all kind of adapting to. Luckily here at LSU, we haven't made that switch yet. We're still shooting on cameras, but that's something that has kind of been a learning curve, but something that's been really interesting to work with.
Would there ever be would you ever go full time to pro leagues, or are you gonna stay with college for the time being?
I like college
because I understand what you're saying. It's not the same. I don't know. There's a different type of passion in college. There's the student section and everything is real. That makes you excited. When you're down there, and the pros is exciting too because you're watching the best of the best.
Yeah.
But something about college football, college basketball, any college sport, the energy is just different.
Yeah. I mean, I love LSU and I love working here and everything like that. It's never been my goal to be okay, I want to go to a professional league and work with them. As far as working with the Saints or with the Chiefs or with a team or anything like that. Because I just love college sports, man.
Hey, and LSU has some of the pros. I mean, last football season we had the best offense in the nation. Yeah. Speak about, did you get any chance to cover them, and how was that working with that football team last season?
Yeah. So obviously Jayden Daniels was drafted last night, so he's gonna be a commander now. But I did a 5-part docuseries on Jayden, that kid Jayden, which also won a Synopsis Award. this past month. It's been a crazy month. April's been insane. It was a few weeks ago in New York. Myself, Brandon Barrio, Cody Worsham, Emily Dixon, Matt Tornquist, Ryan Scher. Like, there's been so many people who contributed to that project, and it was a 5-part series, kind of talking about his, origin, his path to get here, and just like all the records that he set here. We got to do interviews with him. We did interviews with Brian Kelly and Joe Sloan, quarterback coach, and everything like that. So being able to kind of tell his story while, like, whenever they went to New York to do like the Heisman ceremony, like I was finishing up editing like the last of that docuseries. So that whole process was insane, and I want to say like we played a part in that because it was a big propaganda machine. Especially Cody Worsham on Twitter. I mean, he was pumping out stats every day, being like, "This is the guy."
I think that was the only guy I was seeing on Twitter.
Yeah,
him and that Preston guy. That was the only 2 people I've seen on Twitter.
Yeah, so I mean, we were just like doing everything we could in our power to like, not convince people because he was supposed to win, but just show people like this is why he's so deserving. And then also. I helped out a lot with just other projects. Matt Tornquist was the guy. He's no longer here working at LSU, but he did such great work with football while he was here this past year, and it really set the bar high for every other university.
Like, as a creatives team, like, you guys have done so much for like all the sports, because I also think that's why it's like so important to have such a good creatives team at your college, because if it wasn't like Jayden Daniels was always popular. His name was always out there in the media, but I feel like towards the end of this season, getting into like the Heisman talks, like, all right, who's about to win this? His name blew up. Like, it was everywhere. The billboards, the pictures, the docuseries, like you said, and it was amazing. As a Jayden Daniels fan, it was the greatest time ever.
Yeah.
You all kind of substituted as a PR team too.
No, really. You thought we were in the playoffs, like with the amount that they were talking about him.
They were, and that I really do think that won him the Heisman, because for a while it was like, okay, he could win, but then for a little bit it was Michael Penix, and then it was like, okay, Bo Nix, and then Jayden was kind of just always in that discussion, and then I feel like, that documentary came out, and it was like, Jayden's gonna win this, and it's gonna be crazy. So but I don't know, I just think that's something interesting to see, that again, there's a little bit of the PR that goes into it, that hey, look at this kid and hear his story a little bit, and you all had a big part in that. But let's talk about the draft last night a little bit. Just Jayden Daniels. Usually we do a segment here, No Sweat Bets, presented by Southern Air. So, all right, we'll start with David, just because I think he thinks that like him and Jayden Daniels are brothers, which that's okay. Like I feel like you have this special connection with Jayden and Malik. So, David, just your thoughts on their career and how far they could go as a New York Giant and a Washington Commander.
Well, like Jayden Daniels, I've been a fan since he got into college. Did his thing at LSU. Couldn't be more happier. But as a Giants fan, it's going to be with deep regret that I have to watch my Giants steamroll him twice this season, like absolutely obliterate him. Like that's the one day of the 2 times of the year where I'll be the biggest Jayden Daniels hater, because no way you got drafted into my division, and words like PG words can't describe how I feel right now. I'm very, very, very upset that the Giants didn't like do something. Like, I know I'm very delusional too. I'm a delusional Giants fan. I accepted it. Yeah, I'm happy, but I could be happier. We could have both of them. I don't know. Do something. Give our next 20 years, forfeit all our picks.
Oh, you don't want Daniel Jones?
No, I don't want Daniel Jones.
Imagine.
We can blank that out.
Imagine being a Cowboys fan like me. I have to watch. I texted my family group chat. I was like, I feel like I'm watching my brothers get drafted. I've never spoken to them a day in my life, but I felt like my family was getting drafted last night.
It's a gut wrenching. The draft is gut wrenching for me. Seeing like the college dudes that you love. Like, I was in that student section yelling my lungs out, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And you see him move up. I'm so happy that Malik Nabers is a Giant. Like, I almost couldn't be here this morning because I had to fly out to the facility. Like, I had to be the first one to greet him. You guys just come to New York and I can't say hello. I gotta be the first one.
Hey, he's in New Jersey. I think
he's
gonna get a nice house in New Jersey. It's gonna be wait till he finds out about diners, because let me tell you, New Jersey diners are something to talk home about. Okay, Giovanni, I feel like you have a different perspective of this because you've actually spoken to Jayden Daniels and have had conversations.
Actually.
I'm just saying, like
post-game press conference, LSU versus Arkansas. Ask him a question.
Does he
I was
know
the
your
first one to
name?
ask him a
Does
question.
he know your name?
Jayden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Does he know your name, David?
Yeah, he knows my name.
Okay.
I DM him all the time.
Maybe-
We just on the phone.
They have a closer relationship, we'll say. So what are your thoughts on their career and getting drafted last night?
Well, first of all, I'll start with Malik because I like the Giants. And it felt a lot like whenever Odell got drafted. You know, it was just like, I feel like he's going to do great. The only thing is Daniel Jones, you know, I don't know what's going to go on there. But the other thing is, I know I'm from Louisiana, so I'm a Saints fan. So we got to watch maybe the 10th or 15th consecutive first round with another offensive tackle from a Oregon State or some other place. Not sure how I feel about that. But I did film the Sugar Bowl this year, and I fell in love with Michael Penix. So it broke my heart to see him go to the Falcons. Although I don't know if he's going to play because Kirk is there, so I'm not sure.
Well, you're good for like the next
3
years.
Yeah, I'm not sure
you got 2
what's
more years.
going to happen with
Maybe
that.
one.
But yeah, I mean, I think Jayden's going to be great. I mean,
I think he'll be great.
He's going to do great over there. I mean, he's got, weapons and, also Malik's going to do good. And where did Brian Thomas go?
The Jaguars.
Jags, yeah. So that was kind of felt like DJ Chark, just seeing a lot of our guys kind of go to the same places.
Yep.
Other LSU receivers, but I think they'll do fine.
I think they all went to a good spot for all of them.
think?
Malik Nabers with the Giants. I think that's a great place for him. I see, during Pro Day, he was talking up with Dabble. He had an interview, like he visited the Giants multiple times. He was talking about how he loves it. He loves the coaches. He's going to be a great player.
Yeah,
of course he said
or did
that.
he
Dude.
say, like,
Dude.
oh, I believe they're going to make the best decision and whoever is quarterback will be quarterback? And
Listen,
kind of just
Daniel
brush the answer
Jones
off?
isn't the greatest, right?
But, no.
Malik Nabers is very, very, very
I
dynamic.
think he can play running back, too?
As long as we get the ball in his hands,
he
it
play
could be on
quarterback?
short routes the whole time. He can run and make it 50. They can
Think
listen.
he can throw and pass?
I didn't want to say it yet, but Giants, I have been working on my, my form. I'm getting it right.
You're not eligible yet. You got one more year.
Oh
You're
yeah.
a
All right,
junior.
next year
I'm
Giants.
eligible. I'm just
Next
saying.
year Giants snag me. Malik, let's work. Let's
All right.
make a connection in New York.
Well, all right, let's talk about Brian Thomas Jr. And let's be accurate, respectfully. Let's not be delusional for 1 second. Do you think at least this is my opinion? I think Brian Thomas Jr. right now was put in the best position to succeed like right away, going to the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Could you say that?
Yeah, I agree with you. Why are you making it sound like I'm delusional?
Because I feel like you would be like, no, like Malik Nabers is like the best. They're gonna win a Super Bowl. I just felt like, which is okay. You're a fan. That's fine.
Well, you said
But
you just said 2 facts. I mean,
I'm
not
do you
delusional.
think that's like okay?
No,
that
BTJ is definitely
like,
in the
he's
greatest
gonna succeed.
position to succeed. Now, I didn't expect the Jaguars. I thought he was going to go to the Chiefs. Like, I thought the Chiefs
Yeah.
were going to work that. But Chiefs got receiver. But still, BTJ, Trevor Lawrence, I didn't think of it. But that could look really good. And the Jags are on the rise. They're on the up and coming. That was a perfect piece to add to their offense. Somebody who's going to be one of those, he's always going to have, the broadcast camera plays where you got to get the wide 11 man because he's down the field and he's going to catch a 50, 40-yard bomb. He's going to score every time. I'm so excited to see him.
Now, judging by what you've seen, just by filming players like Malik and Brian Thomas being on the same team, how do you think that Brian Thomas is going to be able to work into the Jaguars' offense now that he's going to be playing a different role? And what they said last night on the draft is how he's going to have to get comfortable in this role. And I'm sure you've spoken to him before.
Yeah.
He's very shy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So how do you think that could work for him in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I did a feature. We did the docuseries, The Path for Football, and I did a feature on Brian Thomas. And he's super great, but is very quiet. Didn't get a whole lot out of him. But what I did realize was that he was a great basketball player and kind of ended up going the football route. But after he said that, after every game that I filmed from then on, I was like, I can tell he's a basketball player. Yeah. Like, he's got that move, he's got that quickness, but he's also got the height and the athleticism to get up. And I think, if they're 15 yards in the red zone, it's just Trevor's tossing that thing up. I mean, that's what he's so good at. He's so good at getting up and getting it. And I agree. I think he's in the best position to succeed really quick, and he's going to be scary in Jacksonville.
I was saying it since the 2022 season, he was gonna get way more feeds last season, and it was right because his 50-50 ball game, it's not even 50-50 with him. It's like 80-20, 80% chance he's coming down with the ball. Like, his hands are just so natural. Like, the ball just gets where it needs to be every time. He's gonna be definitely. And he has the probably the most NFL ready frame in my opinion. Like really, really tall, like 6'4". Got some. Has room to put more size on him. Has great speed. I think all the players are in good positions, but definitely excited to see him.
Yeah.
Well, dreams came true for all three of them tonight, or last night rather. So Giovanni, thank you so much for coming on and speaking with us today.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your championship.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm Patricia Caputo. He's David Bartholomew, and this has been the Purple Room.